African Agribusiness Consortium Limited. Dr. Erasmus Tete, CEO of Food Advancement Ghana. Prof. George Odro Inkansa, my old senior and elder brother, who is now the Director, Research and Development for African Agribusiness Consortium Limited. Mr. Richard Adai, the head in HR, is the African Agribusiness Consortium Limited. Dr. Emmanuel Yolsuri, Project Coordinator and Deputy Lead for AAC. Mr. Joel Chachu, Lead Coordinator for AAC. Dr. Fabian Eva of the European Forest Institute, in charge of technical, being a technical advisor on sustainable cocoa production. Colleagues, students, friends of the media, ladies and gentlemen, it is my greatest privilege on behalf of the Ghana Association of Agricultural Economists, GAE, to extend a warm welcome to you to the 8th GAE conference held under the theme Transforming Agri-Food Systems in Developing Economies through Sustainable Agribusiness Development at the prestigious Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, KNUST. It is important to note that this year's conference builds on a 7th conference held at the University for Development Studies, UDS, Tamale, in 2024, under the theme Regenerative and Precision Agriculture for Inclusive Value Chain Development in Africa. With the continuous support from our members, partners, and sponsors, this year's conference presents exciting opportunities to reflect on emerging themes on how to transform agri-food systems using sustainable agribusiness models in developing countries. As an association, we are of the firm conviction that agri-food systems cannot be achieved without proper integration of the various components of sustainable agribusiness, be it financing, production, processing, logistics, distribution, and marketing. This conference, therefore, provides the platform for the presentation and discussion of cross-cutting studies, the promotion of policy dialogue and advocacy, and the advancement of evidence-based decision-making that enhances resilient agri-food systems. On behalf of the association, we are excited to welcome participants, both in person and online, that's virtual, from over 20 institutions in Ghana and across the globe. Indeed, your participation is a growing testament of the importance of our annual conferences and also enhances the diversity of ideas and quality of discussions. This year's conference involves the presentation of 77 accepted papers, 6 plenary sessions, 5 parallel sessions, and exhibition of agricultural products and technologies. As you have seen, the products are there, the technologies are outside, we'll go out to see them. Interestingly, this year's conference program has broken boundaries in the organization of our annual conferences. Can we give a clap to that? For the first time, a 2-day pre-conference event for graduate students and early career researchers was organized on Tuesday and Wednesday, and that is 4th and 5th of November. And 3 awards will be given to presenters based on the quality of their research and paper presentations. The details of the awards are as follows. Professor Kojo Asenso Ochu, the former Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana and of blessed memory. We will have the Best Graduate Student Paper Award. And this will be financed by Engineer Tebi Karikare, my own friend and colleague, who is now the Chief Agro-Industrial Officer of the African Development Bank Group, Nigeria Regional Office. The second award will be Professor Sadito Best Paper Award. Let's give a clap to that. And this will be financed by Mr. Felix Darimani, Principal Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zone Officer of the African Development Bank Group, Southern African Regional Office. And the third award, and not the least, is the Professor Irene S. Eji Outstanding Research Impact Award. And this will be financed by Dr. Mark Aiken, our colleague and former student, who is now the Senior Investment Solutions Specialist, Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, Beijing, China. Thank you, financiers of the awards, for support high-quality academic research among members of the Ghana Association of Agricultural Economists. The Honorable Minister is not here, but we are acknowledging his presence in absentia. And very soon he will be here with us. So kindly permit me to extend our sincere appreciation to the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency, John Dramani Mahama, for recognizing the contributions and talents of our members. Under his able leadership, members of the association have been appointed to serve in various capacities in the government. A clap for that. Let me mention a few of such appointments. Our own colleague and former student, Dr. Peter Buama Otokunu, is now the Director of Presidential Initiatives in Agriculture and Agribusiness. Dr. Osman Tahid Damba is now the Deputy Secretary General of the Ghana Commission for UNESCO. And Professor Irene S. Eji, the woman power, is now the chair of the Cocoa Research Institute of Ghana Management Committee. There are many appointments that we cannot mention here, but for emphasis, we have these three for this speech. I wish to congratulate our colleagues on their appointments and also wish them the very best in the successful execution of their mandates. I wish to use this opportunity to thank our partners and sponsors for the generous contributions towards the organization of this conference. We are extremely grateful to the African Agribusiness Consortium Limited, our main sponsor, for providing financial support of over 80,000 Ghana cedis towards this conference. Thank you, Dr. Mrs. Adelaide Araba Sian Ejipon and your team for the kind assistance. We hope that this marks the beginning of a long-standing collaboration between our association and the African Agribusiness Consortium Limited. We wish to also extend our gratitude to the Yeden Group of companies based in Sunyani, Legacy Crop Improvement Center, Dr. Isaac Nunu of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, Dr. Alex Redu, also of the FAO, and Mr. Philip Wahin of the African Development Bank for their invaluable support for this year's conference. Indeed, the success of this year's program has been made possible through your generous contributions, and we are very grateful as an association for the kind gesture. I also acknowledge the local organizing committee for their dedicated and professional service delivery. Let's give them a hand. As we all know, organizing a conference of this nature requires a great deal of hard work and professionalism. And we are highly indebted to you for putting together one of the best GAI conferences ever held. I cannot forget to acknowledge the commitment of our guests of honor who will be with us very soon. The Minister for Food and Agriculture, Honorable Eric Opoku, who is the MP of Esunafo South. Is that Esunafo South? Esunafo South, that's correct. The keynote speaker, Dr. Abebe Haile Gabriel of FAO, who is the Assistant Director General and Regional Representative for Africa. I believe we'll hear from him either in person or virtually. Together with the panelists, discussants, moderators, session chairs, rapporteurs, in contributing to a conducive atmosphere and also ensuring a thought-provoking discussions that will enrich the discourse on how sustainable agribusiness could enhance agri-food systems in Ghana and beyond. Lastly, to all participants, both in person and online, it is my hope that your constructive engagement and networking will bring interdisciplinary solutions that will contribute to resilient agri-food systems in Ghana. I also urge participants to take active part in the tour of the vibrant city of Kumasi on Saturday. But you can start this evening. Once again, as president of the Ghana Association of Agricultural Economists, it is my singular honor to warmly welcome you all to the Bevo City campus of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology for the 8th GAI Conference. Thank you very much for your attention, and God bless us all.
God bless you too, Professor. That is the president of the Ghana Association of Greek Economists, Prof. John Kuwanu. Thank you. I told you this conference is going to be power-packed. Didn't I? Yes, this is just a tip of the iceberg. All right, thank you again, Professor. We are now ready to take the presentation of our headline sponsor. Yes, in the person, well, I would read a bit of her profile before her name. She is a respected Ghanaian entrepreneur, a philanthropist, educationist with over 20 years of experience leading businesses across different industries. Of course, she is the CEO and corporate owner of the American International School, which was formerly Liberty American School, which she started in the year 2013 to give children a strong foundation in academics and good values. She is also the Chief Operating Officer of the Agribusiness Cluster of the Jospon Group of Companies, and she serves as CEO of the African Agribusiness Consortium and Shillong Meat and Fisheries Limited, where she leads important agricultural projects, including a large commercial rice farming initiative that is helping improve food security and create opportunities for women in Ghana, local rice. Her business journey began in 2005 when she founded St. Josco for Women in Ghana. Her business journey for St. Josco Ventures. Over the years, she has grown her work into several successful businesses, including Haven Events, Haven Christian Guest House, Haven Trading, Haven Realties, and Haven Crystals Travel and Tour, beyond her executive roles. Dr. Siao Ejapong is a shareholder in AH Hotel, Omni Basic Bank, JA Plant Pool, and Metro TV, showing her strong interest and investment in Ghana's hospitality, banking, logistics, and media sectors. She is everywhere. It's already overwhelming. She is driven by her concern for societies less fortunate and underprivileged. So some of us qualify. Thank you. Dr. Adelaide Ejapong founded the Liberty for Societies for House Foundation in 2014. The foundation provides comprehensive support to widows and needy students, offering educational scholarships for brainy but needy students and vocational training while instilling Christian values. Her dedication to this cause earned her the West African Nobles Forum Award for humanitarian efforts. Dr. Siao Ejapong holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Human Resource Management, an LLB from GIMPA, an MBA in Finance from Liberty University, and a professional diploma from the Chartered Institute of Purchasing and Supply in the UK, and will soon be a PhD holder in agribusiness. Yes. In 2014, she was awarded an honorary doctorate in Advanced Studies in Entrepreneurship by Azteca University and Cardinal Training Academy in recognition for her work in business and community development. She has received several awards, including Women Entrepreneur of the Year at the 2023 National Governance and Business Leadership Awards and a Woman of the Year in Education Management and International Relations in the 2023 Women's Choice Africa Awards. And through her leadership, innovation, and dedication to helping others, Dr. Mrs. Siao Ejapong continues to make a positive impact in Ghana and beyond. And he is here to make impact in our lives within this GAI conference. And so please, let's appreciate her with a warm welcome as she mounts the podium to inspire us. Yes, to inspire us with her glamour, making agriculture sexy, and being example to many. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gifty Boachi. That was an elaborate one. And I really appreciate you. You didn't miss anything. I appreciate you for that. Madam Chairperson, or Mr. Chairperson, Honorable Minister, I hope Honorable is watching virtually. Distinguished scholars, respected policymakers, colleagues in the agribusiness community, and our dear students and guests, good morning. It is a real pleasure and a privilege to join you here today at the annual Ghana Association of Agriculture Economists Conference. I wish to commend the organizers for their vision and commitment to advancing conversations that truly matter for Ghana and Africa, for selecting a theme that is both timely and highly relevant to our continent's development. This theme could not have come at a better time. when I received the invitation to serve as a guest speaker for this year's GAI conference, I must admit that I was deeply honored, although perhaps I saw it coming. Yet when I finally sat down to reflect on what to speak about, I paused for a moment. I wanted to find a subject that truly represented not only the theme for the conference, but also what the African Agribusiness Consortium stands for. As I reflected on the theme for this year's conference, transforming agri-food systems in developing economies through sustainable agribusiness development, I realized that the question we must all continue to confront is how to make research matter, how to turn the wealth of ideas, data, and innovation around us into meaningful outcomes for farmers, enterprises, and economies. That very question was what convinced me that AAC should not only participate, but also support this year's GAI conference. It aligns perfectly with our mission to connect knowledge with enterprise and to strengthen the bridge between academic insight and practical transformation. And that is precisely what I wish to share with you today. Around the world, conversations of food systems are changing. Issues of climate change, global trade disruptions, nutrition, and youth employment have made agriculture a defining frontier for both economic resilience and human survival. And yet, for Africa, agriculture is not just an economic sector. It is our identity, our heritage, and our future. When we talk about agricultural transformation in Africa, there is one explanation that immediately comes up, and I am sure many of us in this room have said it many times: the gap between research and practice. It is the most common and most accepted diagnosis of our agricultural challenges, and indeed, that gap exists. There are excellent studies, tested technologies, and strong recommendations that never quite make it into large-scale practice. But as I reflected more deeply on this issue, I began to ask myself whether that is really the full story. It is only a matter of a gap between research and practice. Or is there something else that runs deeper? I believe there is a deeper cause that explains why proven solutions are still not being implemented. The truth is that our challenge is twofold. On one side, there is an institutional divide, a structural separation between research and enterprise that limits communication, collaboration, and that we often avoid confronting. Weak systems of adoption, financing, and continuity. We know we know what to do, but we do not have the systems, the structures, and financial consistency to make it happen. Our institutions are underfunded. Our projects are short-lived, and our financing systems are not aligned with the long-term demands of agricultural innovation. This realization is not abstract to me. It is at the core of this why the Agribusiness Consortium was established. Before AAC came into being, the Just One Group had already achieved success in several industries, including sanitation, logistics, finance, and technology, which were all contributing to national development. But one growing concern was becoming impossible to ignore, which is Ghana's rising food import bill. Every year, billions of cedis left our economy to import products we have the capacity to produce. It was a contradiction that reflected the broader challenge facing Africa, a continent of potential still dependent on external supply for basic food security. Our executive chairman, Dr. Joseph Sianwe Japon, was deeply concerned about this. He believed that if Ghana could organize and scale local production efficiently, we could drastically reduce imports and even become a net exporter of food. This conviction led him to create an agribusiness cluster within the Jobs Fund Group. The aim was to have a cluster that would demonstrate how the private sector could lead agricultural transformation through investment, innovation, and partnership. Knowing my passion for agriculture and belief in its power to transform lives, he entrusted me with the responsibility of leading this vision. Before we began, we traveled extensively to Argentina, Brazil, Thailand, Russia, Japan, and to many countries, including African countries as well, to study how these nations had succeeded in building resilient agricultural economies. We saw advanced technologies, best practices, large agricultural machinery, various sustainable farming systems, and even fully automated farms. What we discovered was that none of these successes came solely from the process itself. They succeeded because they developed strong, well-funded systems that linked research, industry, and policy in a continuous cycle. Their scientists were properly funded, their projects were coordinated, and their policies remained stable across political changes. In other words, they created the conditions that allowed research to become practice. When we returned home, we were determined to apply those lessons. But as we began our work, we realized that Ghana and many parts of Africa continue to struggle with the same systemic weaknesses, including poor coordination, limited funding, inconsistent policy, and fragile institutions. Our projects often start with enthusiasm, but lack the necessary support to transition from pilot to national scale. Ministries, research institutions, and private actors work hard, but in isolation. Each operates with different timelines, priorities, and accountability systems. The outcome is that progress, though visible, remains fragmented and slow. The issue, therefore, is not that we lack ideas, the outcome is that, or that we do not understand what to do. The issue is that our structures do not sustain action long enough to produce meaningful change. Implementation is often left to chance. Financing is short-term, and political cycles interrupt continuity. In essence, we have built a strong foundation of knowledge, but a weak superstructure of practice. Until we address this imbalance, the research practice gap will remain a symptom of deeper systemic failures. If Africa is to move from research to reality, then our approach must change. First, financing must align with our ambitions. Agricultural research and implementation cannot depend on irregular donor support or short-term project funding. We need long-term blended financing mechanisms that support innovation from experimentation through to adoption. Second, we must strengthen institutional coordination. Ministries, research institutions, universities, and private actors must operate under a coherent framework that aligns objectives, timelines, and reporting systems. Third, we must invest in capacity, not only technical capacity, but managerial and entrepreneurial capacity that can translate knowledge into viable business modules. And finally, we must protect policy continuity. Agricultural transformation cannot happen within a single political term. It requires stable institutions that survive transitions and maintain a shared national vision. At the African Agribusiness Consortium, we have tried to model this approach through our partnerships with scientists, financiers, and development institutions. We have seen how collaboration, when supported by resources and guided by data, can deliver results. But this cannot remain the work of a few institutions. It must become a collective national agenda. Development partners, donors, and investors must begin to channel resources, not only to studies and pilots, but to channel to not only, and investors must begin to channel resources not only to studies and pilots, but also to implementation platforms that can demonstrate tangible impact. AAC is one of such platforms, but to integrate research, policy, and enterprise under one coordinated system. Any financier supporting AAC is therefore not an act of goodwill, but an investment in Ghana's capacity to transform knowledge into food security, jobs, and economic competitiveness. Distinguished guests, I believe Africa's problem has never been a lack of research or innovation. Our challenge has been the inability to sustain what we start. We have traveled widely, learned from others, and designed excellent frameworks, but we often stop short of full execution. The time has come to change that. We must act on what we know, finance what we believe in, and protect what we build. As an African proverb reminds us, knowledge is like a garden. If it is not cultivated, it cannot be harvested. The knowledge has already been cultivated by our researchers, our universities, and our farmers. What remains is to nurture it with consistency, investment, and coordination so that its harvest may finally be realized. If we can reach, thank you. Thank you so much. If we can bridge that divide, not only between research and practice, but between knowledge, Africans' agriculture will not remain a vision. It will become our collective reality. To the leadership of the Ghana Association of Agricultural Economists, I wish to commend you once again for your commitment to advancing research, policy, and practice in our agricultural space. We commend Guy for the hard work. Your work is essential in shaping the thinking that must guide Africans' food systems for the future. I am hopeful that the deliberations, collaborations, and insights shared at this year's conference will inspire new partnerships and catalyze solutions that will not remain on paper, but find expression in our farms, markets, policies, and institutions. On behalf of the African Agribusiness Consortium and the Just Fund Group, I wish the GAI a continuous strength, growth, and influence. May this year's conference be a fruitful one. And may the knowledge generated here empower us to build a more resilient, competitive, and prosperous agricultural future for Ghana and ultimately for Africa. Thank you. As I wish us all a successful and impactful conference. Thank you very much.
That was a beautiful speech. Give it up to her one more time. Oh, please, you can do better. Thank you. With this speech, the conference is already a fruitful one. Thank you so much. And for emphasizing that we need to invest in capacities for tangible impact and emphasizing the importance of our working environment as living labs to drive innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the CEO of AAC. Let's appreciate her one more time. Thank you. All right, we are ready to take the keynote address. Yes, it's a special address for this conference. And so I would invite the woman power in our midst, the new chair of Craig Management Committee, to do us the honors and invite.
I'm students in what the Jamodo. Yanara assassini, ayabo dindin mayen, moja nananum shegu nyai to or mayen. Edume ne won so sayebe ye biatuaso, nimdien traso, photon cranin ya pese minkum minya. Idi embre mudema ya sasi hudo atom se. Ọma yi sebe ye yo, ọma yi seri ye yo, eye se na hose, ọma mfo bra nechre. So I'm reading the profile of Dr. Haile Gabriel Abebe, FAO ADG and Regional Representative for Africa. Doc is a national of Ethiopia, and I have a PhD student from Ethiopia. Why are you? Wave. Very good. We've graduated a number of them. This is the sixth or so. He's a long-time champion of the crucial role of agriculture in sustainable development. With extensive experience in the sub-Saharan Africa development landscape, Haile Gabriel has extensive practical knowledge, a technical expertise, and strategic approach to the developmental challenge of Africa. He served as a senior manager at the African Union Commission, where he engaged with crucial stakeholders and partners, ranging from governmental officials to civil society organizations, private sector, farmers, among others. Haile Gabriel began his career in the academia in 1986 and served as a faculty member of the Alimaya University in Ethiopia until 2005. A champion of the higher education system and the potential of the rural area in steering the continent's path towards development, Haile soon joined the AUC as director of the Semi-Arid Food Grains Research and Development based in Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso, and then assumed the role of head of the Rural Economy Division. From 2011 to 2015, he served as director of the Development or Department of Rural Economy and Agriculture, based at the AU headquarters in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Haile Gabriel joined FAO in 2015 as Deputy Regional Representative for Africa and representative to Ghana. He has also been the Regional Program Leader for Africa since 2017. The ADG holds a doctorate degree and a Master of Arts degree in Agricultural and Rural Development from the International Institute of Social Studies at The Hague, the Netherlands. He earned his Bachelor of Science degree in Agricultural Economics from the Alimaya, now Haramaya University of Agriculture in Ethiopia. Our keynote speaker. You are welcome, sir.
Ghana Association. Excellencies, President of Excellencies, President of Ghana Association of Agricultural Economists, the members of the association, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. It's an honor to address you at this annual conference of Ghana Association of Agricultural Economists. I bring greetings to you from FAO and extend my wishes for fruitful deliberation. I believe we are holding a conference at a moment where bold leadership, innovation, and stronger partnerships have courage accelerate the agricultural transformation we all seek. An ecosystem transformation is the foundation of sustainable development, prosperity, and urbanization for Africa. When Africa holds the key to a world free from hunger and poverty, nowhere else can we unlock such a scale of progress. And yet, the pace and scale of transformation remain insufficient. The potential is the one the constraint equally so. This alarming highlights the persistent challenge. Governance and policy weaknesses, particularly policy inconsistency, is limiting institutional capacity, while accountability is slowing a fall. The key infrastructure and value chain deficits, roads, storage, processing, urban chains, and logistics, and really navigate, leading to high post-harvest.
All right, thank you. We are trying to fix the sound. Technology is doing what it shouldn't do now. Yes. So while waiting, there's another very crucial presentation we can have. Or they put that presentation together. So I would want to invite Dr. Fabian Eva, who is the technical advisor on sustainable cocoa from the European Forest Institute, to give us a presentation on sustainable cocoa initiative and the EUDR. Please welcome her, show her some love. Yes, we appreciate your presence. And before she takes the microphone, I would want to say a little bit about her. She is a sustainable cocoa technical advisor at the European Forest Institute based in Jonsu. We are actually based in Accra, but the headquarters is in Jonsu, North Karelia. Previously, she was a policy and advocacy project coordinator at Fair Trade Advocacy Office from 2007 to 2013 and is the senior project manager at Fair Trade International from 2014 to 2017. She also held positions at Delhaize, Belgium, Fair Trade International, CCFD, Solidaire, German Society for International Cooperation, and Christian Aid. So our international reps are duly here. Fabian received a diploma degree from École, this is in French, Economists. All right, so she would say it to the business school and Erasmus program from Aachen University and Master of Science from the School of Oriental and African Studies, University of London. Please let's appreciate her one more time for being here.
So, thank you. Good morning, everyone, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak today in one of the best universities of Ghana. It's really a pleasure for me to be here today. So, as said, I work for the European Forest Institute. It's an international organization founded by European states. The headquarters are in Finland. It's a research and policy institute working essentially on European forests, but it has also now an international partnership department based in Spain, which works on policy and technical assistance support to partner countries in tropical countries. So I work in that department, and I worked under the Sustainable Cocoa Program, which is funded by the EU. And we're one of the 4 implementing partners. The Food and Agriculture Organization is also an implementing partner, the Joint Research Center of the European Commission, and the German International Development Corporation, GIZ. So this goes a bit fast. So before I want to tell you a bit about sustainability in the cocoa sector. It's a vast topic, quite complex topic, so I only have 15 minutes. I'm not sure I can do it justice, but at least I'll share a few thoughts, and then we will have a panel discussion and we can go deeper. And I will give you a short overview of the European regulation on deforestation, which is going to come into application quite soon. So, yeah, next slide, please. So, next slide. Yes, so before going into sustainability in cocoa, I just wanted to take a step back and think back, what is sustainability? It was actually defined in 1987 as meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. And I'm sharing here a graph which comes from the donut economy, which has been developed by a researcher called Kate Raworth. Maybe you know it. I find that it actually it illustrates quite well what sustainability is. It's actually the safe space of humanity in between a social foundation that needs to be ensured for society to be sustainable, that includes water, food, health, income, and all what is needed for people to have decent living. But within the ecological ceiling, within the planetary boundaries, beyond which there's pollution, degradation of soils, water pollution, and so on. So we need to remain within that space. So this is the big challenge, I think, of sustainability, is how to develop, to grow, but within planetary boundaries and ensuring social foundation. Next, please. So in the cocoa sector, usually sustainability is presented under 3 pillars: the environmental, social, and economic pillar. On the environmental one, usually the focus is on deforestation, like ensuring no deforestation. On the social pillar, the most talked about topic is child labor, and on economic is living income. For a long time, the focus has been on social and environmental, and economic has been often left out or like put aside, especially by the private sector, who say, well, the economic issues are just free market issues, we can't really do anything on it. But in fact, it's a crucial one. Without living income for farmers, you cannot achieve the environmental and social sustainability. Next one, please. So I want to share this graph. Also, it comes from the Cocoa Barometer from the Voice Network, which is a network of NGOs in Europe, but also in Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. And for me, that's one that really reflects well all the elements of sustainability issues in the cocoa sector. It's not just child labor, deforestation. What they do is, what I find interesting, it presents sustainability into 2 main branches: human rights and environmental protection. But these can only be achieved if you have living income as like the trunk of the tree. And they also add the roots, they add governance as the roots, which could be also illustrated as the framework. So under human rights, you have issues of poverty, malnutrition, child labor, human trafficking, labor rights, working conditions, lack of education and healthcare. Under environmental protection, you have deforestation and forest degradation, but also loss of biodiversity, high use of agrochemicals, issues of climate change. And then for living income, how to ensure living income. The main issues are the low prices, but also low yields, and then high risks and not enough credit to invest and so on. So, and then under governance, it's written very small, so I'll read it. You need rural development strategies, you need transparency and accountability, supply management, rule of law. So there's a whole lot of issues that they're all interconnected, and it's quite complex. Next step, next slide. Okay, again, from the Cocoa Barometer, they don't have just a problem tree, they also have a solution tree. So this shows a little bit all the elements that need to be put into place to achieve sustainability. So under human rights, there's community development, child labor monitoring systems, women's empowerment is also important. Under environmental protection, traceability, agroforestry, land and tree tenure is also a key issue. And under living income, there's the issue of price, but also farmer contracts. In Ghana, it's a bit different, but access to finance and infrastructure, farmer organization and empowerment, good agricultural practices, and as the foundation, bottom-up inclusion, holistic landscapes approach, and transparency and accountability, and they mentioned mandatory regulations. So these are all the things that need to be done. Stuck. Okay, so who can contribute to sustainability? to have this holistic approach, then all the stakeholders have a role to play and need to work together. So you have farmers, obviously, but also the government, and in Ghana, the Cocoa Board plays a very key role in the cocoa sector. The traders, the chocolate companies, civil society, but also researchers. So happy to be here today and to discuss how everyone can work together. Next, please. Okay, and then I wanted to share how for the past 20 years, I think there has been a lot of efforts in the cocoa sector to move towards a more sustainable sector. Private companies have invested in third-party sustainability schemes. I hear today one of the sessions on fair trade and so on. They also have programs on the ground. There's development programs funded by donors. There's a lot going on. But still there is still poverty, there's still human rights abuses, there's still environmental degradation. So we're not there yet, and there's still a lot to do. And I think one of the issues is that it has been voluntary until then. And private companies still have maximization of profit in mind, even though some have also corporate social responsibility and try to take into account the donut economy I was presenting before, but it still remains partial and it's not enough. There needs to be really a paradigm shift. And I think what we're moving now towards regulations where actually it's not voluntary anymore, but it will become compulsory and it will ensure a level playing field so that everybody has to do it, and it's not a choice for a company to engage in sustainability or not. So this brings me to the EU regulation on deforestation. Next, please. So it's not the only one. There's really a move right now. The UK are also developing a regulation on deforestation. The Dutch have a child labor regulation. I hear Japan is also thinking of something. And the European Union also have a whole scope of regulations they want to put into place. But I'll talk today specifically on the EU regulation on deforestation. Next, please. So basically, the EU is taking action to minimize the risk that products associated with deforestation enter the EU market. And they want to increase also the demand for deforestation-free products. So the European Union is not imposing cannot impose anything in other countries, but what they are thinking is we as Europeans, we import products, and through our consumption, through our demand for products, we are actually contributing to deforestation, to social exploitation in other countries. And we don't want to do that anymore. So the European Union is asking companies to get to know their supply chain, know where they're buying from, and make sure where they are buying from, they are not contributing to deforestation, no human rights violations. And so they have studied as we know, agriculture is one of the main drivers of deforestation. So they've looked at what Europe imports in terms of agricultural products and which ones are contributing most to deforestation. Palm oil is the biggest, soy, wood, coffee, cocoa, beef, and rubber. So these are the ones that have been selected to be within the scope of the EUDR. Next, please. So for the case of Ghana, these data are not very up to date. It's from 2021, but it gives you an idea. Out of the commodities, out of these 7 commodities that Ghana exports, the biggest one is cocoa. The other commodities represent a much smaller, okay, thank you, a much smaller percentage of Ghana's cocoa, of Ghana's exports, basically. So really, we've been focusing in Ghana on the cocoa sector. And if you look at Ghana's cocoa exports, most of it goes to the European Union, so they are mostly affected by the EUDR. Okay, sorry about that. So just to give you a summary. So basically under this regulation, the regulation applies to the operators. By operators, the European Union means the ones who import products into the EU. So they have to ensure that the products they place on the EU market are traceable, deforestation-free, and compliant. When they import into the EU, they need to enter data into the EU information system on their suppliers and on the geolocation of the farm where the product was produced. Then the EU member states at the customs will check and verify compliance of all the imports. They can't do it for everything, so they will use a risk-based approach. The regulation is supposed to come into application in December 2025, so, and that's the program I'm actually part of. Okay, the main requirement, as I said, is to make sure that the products are traceable. So companies have to get the geolocation, like the farm needs to be mapped of where the product was produced. The products need to be deforestation free, and by that the European Union means the cocoa was not produced in an area that was deforested after December 2020. So 2020 is the cutoff date for countries. So they say, okay, if you import cocoa from Ghana, you need to make sure you respect the laws of Ghana. So basically, operators have to do a due diligence process. They have to collect information. They have to assess the risk of non-compliance. And if they see some risk, they have to implement mitigation measures. And then the EU member states, as I said, they will verify compliance. Based on the risk, they will do just 4% or 9% of the shipments. And also any natural or legal person, any one of you, can submit a substantiated report if they have concerns about any non-compliance. And then the competent authorities in Europe will check. If there is a risk identified, then the importer, if the competent authority recognizes that there is a risk, there is a non-compliance, they can apply sanctions that could go up to 4% of the revenue of the importer. So it's a really strong regulation. Okay, the implications for Ghana. So basically, as I explained, the regulation applies to the operators, to the companies. They have to make sure that their supply chain is compliant. But the Ghanaian government, in the case of Ghana, can also play a role in providing an enabling environment, making sure the systems are in place for the products to be produced legally and deforestation-free. They can take measures to reduce the risk of deforestation. Also, Ghana is a specific case because unlike other countries where operators operate freely in the country and purchase from farmers directly, in Ghana, the Cocoa Board plays a key role. It's actually the regulator, but also in a way an operator. They're buying and selling cocoa. So they really have a very strong role to play. And they actually took this role on very seriously, and they intended already to provide a traceability system, but this, I guess, has given even more momentum. They put a cocoa management system in place, traceability system, to make sure that the cocoa is traceable. So they are now, they are implementing already for this season. I can't talk for Cocoa Board, and Dr. Manu is here, so I'm sure in the panel discussion he will say more himself. But basically, there's a traceability system in place. Farms have been mapped, farmers have been registered. Cocoa Board also has a deforestation risk monitoring module in place. So they are planning to sell EUDR compliant cocoa to the traders. And to facilitate also the due diligence of operators, Forestry Commission is developing a 2020 forest map, which will enable people to check, was it a forest in 2020 or not? So yeah, the way forward is that there's a lot to do, but we need collaboration among all actors, public, private, civil society, academia, to make sure that this regulation really has a positive impact. So thank you very much. There's still a lot to say, but I'm sure in the panel discussion we will say.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fabian Eva, for that beautiful, beautiful presentation. Please let's appreciate her. She has done extremely well. Thank you. Yes. So we were supposed to have a discussion on this, but we will take the discussion after our coffee break. So please, any questions you have on this, kindly note them when we are back from the break. You agree with me that it's quite been a stretch. So when we are back from the break, then we can take that. All right. So do you see that the ambience of the room has changed? Yes. If you don't feel it, I feel it. It has changed. Yes. And the person we have been earnestly waiting for is here with us. Please, let's appreciate the presence of the Minister of Agric in the person of Honorable Eric Opoku. Yes. Oh, I think you can do better. Yes. And it's even in order if we give him a standing ovation. You know, his presence adds color, glamour, and everything.
food, ensuring that the process is profitable, inclusive, and environmentally responsible. The World Bank estimates that Africa's food and agribusiness market will exceed $1 trillion by 2030. This potential can only be unlocked through efficient value chains and sustainable agribusiness growth. Sustainable agribusiness is the engine that drives transformation. It links farmers to markets, promotes value addition, and creates jobs along the supply chain while protecting our natural resources. Let me illustrate with a few examples. Ghana's poultry sector consumes nearly 600,000 metric tons of maize annually. Yet, we still import more than 400,000 tons of chicken meat each year. Similarly, our horticulture industry, particularly in mango, pineapple, and vegetables, continues to expand, with exports exceeding $80 million in 2024. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we can multiply this several times over if we build stronger agro-processing and logistics systems. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the government of Ghana recognizes the central role of agriculture and agribusiness in national development. Our focus is clear: to make Ghana food secure, export competitive, and economically inclusive through innovation and sustainability. Allow me to highlight two policy directions that reflect this commitment: the Feed Ghana policy and the 24-hour economy policy. The Feed Ghana policy is a renewed drive to enhance domestic food production and reduce our dependence on imports. It emphasizes food security, import substitution, and agribusiness development. The policy focuses on expanding access to improve seed and fertilizer systems, promoting irrigation and mechanization, strengthening post-harvest infrastructure, including aggregation centers and cold storage, and supporting agro-processing and market linkages. By improving domestic production capacity, the policy aims to ensure that Ghana produces what it consumes while creating opportunities for local businesses across the value chain. The 24-hour economy policy seeks to boost productivity by enabling continuous business activity in key sectors, including agriculture and food logistics. This means ensuring that food transportation, storage, and processing facilities operate around the clock with adequate power, security, and workforce systems. Imagine a Ghana where produce from Wenchi or Ejura moves efficiently through the night to urban markets under safe and well-lit conditions, where agro-processing plants run in shifts to meet domestic and export demand, and where young people find decent full-time jobs in logistics, packaging, and warehousing. Distinguished agricultural economists, your role is indispensable in this journey. You provide the analytical backbone for sound policies and investment decisions. We need your expertise to design market-based incentives, assess the true cost of food production, and evaluate how policy instruments can attract investment without excluding smallholders. We also need stronger university-industry linkages to bridge the gap between research and practice. Too often, excellent research findings remain on shelves while farmers struggle with problems that have already been solved in theory. Professor Chair, our youth must also be at the center of this transformation. Over 57% of Ghana's population is under 25 years old. If we can channel even a portion of their creativity and energy into agribusiness through innovation hubs, digital agriculture, and entrepreneurship financing, we can unlock the massive potential of the sector. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we pursue growth, we must not lose sight of sustainability. Climate change continues to threaten our gains with erratic rainfall, floods, and rising temperatures negatively impacting agriculture and its allied businesses. In 2022, Ghana recorded crop losses of about 12% for maize and 8% for rice due to irregular rainfall patterns. We are therefore promoting climate-smart agriculture, efficient water management, and soil health restoration through integrated approaches that combine conservation with productivity. It is significant to note that transforming agri-food systems requires partnership. It is not the job of government alone. We need strong collaboration between the public sector, private investors, research institutions, and development partners. As a ministry, we are committed to creating a policy environment that rewards innovation, supports fair trade, and encourages responsible investment. Distinguished guests, this conference is more than an academic event. Let me take that again. This conference is more than an academic event. It is a call to action. The choices we make today will shape the food systems of tomorrow. Systems that feed our people, systems that create jobs, and systems that sustain our planet. As the Minister for Food and Agriculture, I assure you that the government remains fully committed to supporting this agenda through sound policies, investment in agribusinesses, and collaboration with experts like you. Together, we can build an agricultural sector that is productive, resilient, and globally competitive. One that can truly transform lives and communities across Ghana and beyond. Together, we can feed Ghana, eat Ghana, and secure Ghana. On this note, I thank you.
Thank you. Oh, do better. Do better. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. It was so good to have you. No wonder we were keenly waiting for you to get here. And thank you for your promise to always support us so we'll be able to be food sufficient. And also awakening our minds to the two main policies on the Feed Ghana policy and, of course, the flagship 24-hour economic policy that won us the elections. Thank you. All right. So at this stage, we have sat for very long. And so we would want to break for coffee. I don't know if it's not too late for coffee, but we will break for coffee. And before we go for the coffee, we would let the Honorable Minister lead us to see what AAC has been able to put together in their quest to transform agricultural and agri-food systems. And we will also use it as an opportunity to interact with the Honorable Minister. All right, so the President, John Dramani Mahama, yes, we want to acknowledge his efforts in driving change in agriculture. So please extend the message to him.
So, on behalf of the Ghana Association of Agricultural Economists, we'd like to thank the Honorable Minister for honoring our invitation to him and for delivering this superb speech. Let's give him the clap once more. In his presence, we would like to take this opportunity and on behalf of the Ghana Association of Agricultural Economists to thank His Excellency, the President, John Dramani Mahama, for recognizing talents and contributions of members of the association. And to mention just a few, we have our own brother and former student of the University of Ghana, Dr. Peter Boama Otokuno, who is now the Director of Presidential Initiatives on Agriculture and Agribusiness. Let's give a clap to that. We also want to thank the President for honoring our member, Dr. Osman Tahidu Damba, who is now the Deputy Secretary General of the Ghana Commission for UNESCO. We also want to thank the President for appointing our professor, Professor Aaron S. Ejay, who is now the chair of the Cocoa Research Institute of Ghana Management Committee. So we know what the president is doing, we know what the minister is doing, and we fully acknowledge. And we know that more of our members will be appointed to certain positions, strategic positions. I remember when we went to Accra to contribute to the Feed Ghana policy document. And we like to say thank you, Mr. Minister, and Honorable Minister and MP for Esunafo Sahaf, for being here with us today and honoring this invitation. Thank you once again to His Excellency, the President, John Dramani Mahama. Thank you very much for coming. God bless you.
Thank you very much. That's the Gai President of JM Kuonu. Yes, thank you. All right. So at this point, I think it's in order that we take the closing remarks from our host, Professor Fred Nimo, on behalf of Professor Rita Akosua-Dixon. Yes, closing remarks. Please, let's appreciate him.
Moderator. Once again, on behalf of the Vice Chancellor, Mrs. Rita Akosua-Dixon, I say thank you so much for all dignitaries and members of government, researchers, and everyone here, especially to our minister. We thank you for coming, even though you had the tough time in terms of the delay in the flights. Our sponsor, Dr. Adlit, President Gayi, we say thank you. But I'm not giving just the thank, whatever, I'm not just giving the thank you remarks. It's actually to give a short observation of what has expired here. Our president mentioned that we have received about 77 papers to be presented at this conference. And other technologies to be exhibited or to be shown. Awards will be given, very inspiring. And as we have gathered here, I want to say on behalf of the President, of the Vice Chancellor, that we have our students here, the next generation. I'm sure you are all observing. I'm saying the next generation. A lot of very useful ideas and concepts are coming from what we are presenting here. So we believe from here it will not be like just business as usual. And if you listen carefully to the various speakers, as Minister also mentioned, it's not just, it shouldn't just be an academic conference, but walking the talk. Our sponsor, Entrepreneur, also made a very strong point that we should just go beyond just demonstrations, plots, to implementation. And they have started something. If you look carefully over the past, the number of supports and that have come in Ghana here, projects, I think we can count so many in all parts of Ghana. If the message is transforming agriculture and you really want to see the impact, our sponsors, they have started. I think I like that. We should go beyond the pilots, the demonstration plots, the theories, and start action. And our minister is giving the full support. He mentioned the word, the youth, how we involve the youth. And we are also aware the National Service Secretariat, they are going around, they came to our faculty to see how we can make this a reality. We are waiting. Mr. Minister. Yes, I think that is where the youth, we can even make the real impact. Our speaker, Fabian, there's a key word in this theme, sustainability. Not only should we look at the money, the 3 P's, of course, the profit, the environment, and also the people, they matter. So if the attempt is to transform agriculture through food systems, and I like it, that it will involve all the actors in the chain. And the over 33 million Ghanaians, if this should work, which we hope it should work, we will address our burdens in terms of the challenges your speeches have mentioned, the imports, and so many other things. So once again, I will say on behalf of the Vice Chancellor, we are happy to have this conference here. Feel free, after the sessions, go around, see the environment. Is the number 1 in Ghana here. I think so, the University, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science. And I was happy to hear our minister as an alumnus. I hope you've seen a number of changes that have occurred. Yes, so please, Gayi and members gathered here, thank you for coming, and we wish ourselves a very fruitful, impactful conference. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you, Professor Dean, for those beautiful words, closing remarks. I think from your speech and that of the Gai president, the vote of thanks has been partially done. But I'm sure there are other people who also need to be acknowledged for their special efforts in making this work. It has been a very beautiful opening, hasn't it? It has. Full of minds, great minds that have shared with us insights to help us improve on what we do to transform our agri-food system. We would like to thank God for giving us journey mercies far and near to come here and be part of this great discourse. I would also want to thank the Vice Chancellor for making her space available to accommodate all of us, making us feel the warmth in the special way we are feeling it. And thank you, Prof. Fred Nimo, for duly representing her. I'd want to thank the Honorable Minister for gracing the occasion. When they say someone has really come to grace the occasion, this is the definition of it. Thank you so much for adding color to this. And we also want to thank our sponsors. Special mention to AAC for giving us a chunk of the money to make this work. I'm sure the Honorable Minister will also support. Yes, and so we are going to clap for him in anticipation. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. All right. And so all our guest speakers, special mention of Prof. John KM Kuonu, who is the GAI president. I also want to thank Prof. Irene Ijui for gracing us the program with her presence. I want to thank Dr. Mrs. Adlesian Ejapong, who is the CEO of African Agribusiness Consortium, for also giving us that beautiful, beautiful speech, and also to Dr. Fabian Eva for giving us a speech on sustainable cocoa issues. We cannot but thank the LOC for putting this together. Tireless efforts. They haven't slept. I think they need a vacation. Yes. And so before the vacation comes, let's appreciate their efforts. They have done so well. And for LOC, we mean the conference was organized by the Departments of Agriculture, Economics, Agribusiness, and Extension. And we have some of our senior members here. Professor Bakan is here, Professor Simon Kujo-Fialo is here. Please let's appreciate, yes, the senior members, yeah, in our department. For the sponsors, we would also want to acknowledge all the universities. KNUST, University of Ghana, University of Development Studies, University of Energy and Renewable Natural Resources. We also want to thank our research institute, reps from our research institute. We have Savannah Accelerated Research Institute from CSIR. We have Cocoa Research Institute of Ghana. We have Crop Research Institute, Forestry Research Institute of Ghana. Duly represented Dr. Mrs. Patricia Pinaman Echampon, please appreciate her. Dr. Mrs. Beatrice Dakun Obri, Dr. Edward Mate, we thank you so much for representing our research institutes. Good. This conference wouldn't have been successful if you and I were not here. Oh, I remember you and I were not there those times, yes. If you and I were not here, this wouldn't have been successful. So we want to thank you for making the time to be part of this special congress or conference. Thank you so much. We appreciate our media team for covering. Yes, and I'm sure you're going to be with us all through, right? Yes. Thank you so much. Let's give ourselves a big round of applause. Great. Good. So African Agribusiness Consortium, thank you once again. They have mechanized equipment outside, which we would also want to have a look at to see what they are doing to enhance what we do. And so please, we'll take our photograph. Yes, we will take our photograph with the Honorable Minister. So please, all distinguished personalities here, we can join him upstage while we take that one. And all of us will go downstairs so that we can be part of this beautiful gathering. So Honorable Minister, please, if you could come forward so that the distinguished guests from the high table and our special speakers can join you. Yes, please, as we take the photograph. Please, LOC can join us, Executive of GAI. LOC, please join us. Executives of GAI can also join us. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. Yes, so please, we'll take a bigger one downstairs. The exhibition continues. Yes, and please remember to take your tickets for... Please take your tickets at the gates before you go. So Honorable Minister will lead us through the exhibition session. Please, if you are presenting and you haven't given your slides to Dr. Faisal, kindly do that before the technical session, please. Yes, and please, after the photo downstairs, we'll all go to Africa Hall for the snack break. Please kindly note that. And so take your coupon while you are exiting the hall. Thank you and God bless you. So please, it is exhibition time now. After that, we'll take the bigger photograph and then go to Africa Hall for our snack break. After which we'll come back to this conference room to continue.
So this is our style. Okay. We have the agronomist, Professor.
Prof, how you say
kilometer. We said this in the soil. So it's flooding and drying. Flood it this much, and you allow it to dry to the soil level. Because in so doing, then you are reducing what? Methane gas emissions. Water can rise things in the water all the time. And there's a way of reducing the water usage. So by this, if you allow the water to drop, trees will have saved water. And then also oxygen in the soil will increase, which will bring about better roots aeration and also reduce methane gas emission. And by also doing this, you can also gain credits, carbon credits. You can also gain carbon credits and carbon sequestration. And at the same time, you don't lose your yield. You maintain your yield. So this is how AWD works.
And sometimes the yield increases.
Yeah.
You test the soil before. You test the soil before the
No, before the AWD, that's why we have the machine there. We do lab preparation. I have to level it to about 1%. Then we test the nutrients. Then we test the soil to find out what the nutrients. So at ABC, the field, we first testing the soil. And so you have the people test their limits. Collaborating with the soil research. Take the soil sample. Get by also add organic matter. Know the we are adding Also the just born people, because that alone is huge. There are over 10,000, and then even our rice, huge market already. Yeah. So even the rice we can. Nutrient solution.
So where in Ghana are you doing this?
At AAC, our office.
Your office?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay. That's for the
But
are you scaling up? This one is value addition.
Well planned. This from your own reading. Why are you
So they are available in the various ways.
This one is
What have you added to change this?
It's how the process is done.
Yes.
The process. How they follow the due process, wash to fry it.
So now you have commercialized it.
Yes.
It can be found everywhere in this country.
Yes, most of the supermarkets.
Supermarkets.
Wow.
And one is how much?
This 50, right? Is that this 50? This 50.
So it's 350.
No, I think it's 50 cents, right? But this is 25.
Yes.
And this is right.
What part?
We have the demand. Orders are just coming out.
That's what live. Check Facebook now. What that's what live. Yeah, that's all. Good morning. Can we take it here? I don't know. But not say yes. I think we can stand here. I think that's Charlie, see. Yes, I think they want something else. They want this background. And it could be very control. Could be. I can't go so far. That's what life from here. What's your exhibition? See your exhibition, Anna. I can look now. Makata, I like I black. Himself, you're very black. Oh, okay. You are son Ken West. Do almost like proximity. So like I'm so kind to my like I'm yes, madam. Sorry, I was talking. I was very serious. Like I was like that. In fact, building. In fact, building.
But did you ask the minister if he's going to?
I don't know.
I don't ask the
minister picture pictures.
Why?
Because he, I don't know. I will build in any more. That's all I see.
Monica, we have to stand This is a Gina slap.
okay? I'm feeling like 7.
Dial star 712#. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompts and let destiny handle the
You see how they love you now?
Yo, do you have family payment? Before December, maybe release a motivational album. Patapa, my super.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
West Africa's soil yields global treasures. Cocoa, cashew, shea, and cotton. They power industries across the world. Yet for our region, the greatest value still slips away, exported raw, taking with it jobs, industries, and the promise of shared prosperity. The real question is no longer what we produce, but who captures the final reward. True prosperity lies in the value we add right here at home. That's why the 4th edition of the EBIT President's Roundtable will gather the architects of Africa's prosperity and Africa's transformation to answer one defining question. How do we finance the journey from the farm to the port? Join Dr. George Ejekum Donko and some leading experts as EBIT leads a high-level dialogue to unlock financing, empower local industries, and turn West Africa's raw potential into industrial power. Be part of the conversation redefining our economic future, live on Metro TV, DSTV Channel 277, and EBIT platforms on November 24, 2025 at 11 a.m. EBIT President's Roundtable 2025. From the farm to the port, financing the value chains of West Africa's cash crops. My name is Anita Erskine, and it will be an honor to host you.
Right, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us right here on Business Edge. We are happy to come your way this afternoon with Business Edge for all the best of news and current affairs analysis in the space of the economy and business. You'll get it right here on Business Edge on Metro TV. Thank you very much for